Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, Sir Wilkins of the Jobber Tears podcast, and we are here for another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends, and I hope all is well. I got a special guest here. They call him the Light Skin Assassin, a.k.a. the love child of Lionel Richie and Shemar Moore, a.k.a. Cam, a.k.a. Ceehawk, a.k.a. Mr. Dangling Earring. Is live on an episode of Coffee Talk with Friends, and we're going to talk about stuff when it comes to wrestling, maybe about his love for milk, maybe not his love for milk, because I don't think he really likes milk for low-key. I think he's more about something. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, welcome aboard to another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends. Ceehawk, what's up?
Ain't not too much, man. Not too much. Trying to be like you, man. Been doing a lot of work this week, last week. It's actually a pretty good feeling. I don't know how you do as much of it as you do, but it's nice to stay busy, man. I'm doing all right.
Okay, yeah. So tell me a little bit about you. I feel like you've been in the wrestling community, IWC, for a while.
Yeah,
Can you? Has it been a while? This was like you just popped up like yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. So, I feel like I tell the story a lot. Just like it always comes up. Graduated college, summer of 2008. Was still out here in the Austin area. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm still out here in the Austin area. Most of my friends I went to school with ended up relocating after they finished school. You know, they go to Houston, they go to Dallas, different places. I'm from like an hour down the road in San Antonio, and I was always like, home is close enough, so I'm going to stay up this way. Was seeing a girl, finally got my own place after college. We ended up breaking up, so like it's just me and the dog, right? So I'm like, man, I need some way to like stay busy. I need something to stay interested in. So that's when I really started to get back into wrestling. Randomly, I was looking for wrestling results and was checking out PW Torch, and I heard this show called the East Coast Cast, and it was Travis Bryant, Barjay Purnell, and they talked about wrestling like I talk about sports with my friends. Like it's two guys from Philly shooting shit, you know. So, started really listening to that show. I would call in. Eventually, Trav asked me to do a couple of guest spots. Some things changed with like Dre's work schedule, and so I ended up co-hosting, and it took off from there, man. That turned into me writing about wrestling, doing different wrestling podcasts. And yeah, all these years later, man, that was like 09, 2010. All these years later, like here we are, right? Doing like all the different media stuff. So yeah, man, it's been a long journey. It's been a hard journey. I tell people this thing don't happen overnight, but yeah, here now.
You're a fake overnight celebrity. You fake, like fake, like on the outside looking in, you're like, yo, he just popped up. But knowing your story now, it's been a while. So we got to ask the typical question. Top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time.
Okay.
Not in a particular order.
Yeah, and it changes from time to time. So I know there's a couple names that are always going to be on there. You got Eddie Guerrero, you got Scott Hall, you got Kurt Angle, you got Bret Hart. Those are always kind of like the top 4. If I threw in a 5th, I try to keep people like from different eras. I'd probably go Daniel Bryan as the last one. I'll probably throw him in there. Like Rock is sitting right there. Brock Lesnar's really high. But yeah, probably Daniel Bryan and The Rock are probably where I flip-flop. But it'd be probably one of those two.
No, okay. I got some beef with Rock not being in the top 5 because I am a Rock mark.
Yeah,
that's my guy. That's my guy. And we will talk about The Rock's second rap debut.
Yeah.
Because the streets were disrespecting him. Sure. The streets were disrespecting him. I interviewed my homegirl Jizzy the other day. She said the disrespectful things too. And I just want to hear your opinion because I saw your tweets and it was nasty.
Yeah,
straight nasty.
But those are tweets. We'll talk about it how I really feel because I have my opinions on rap and people rapping might be a little bit different than
who you listening to.
So we'll talk about it. Who do I listen to? Who's right now? I'm super into I love Benny. I saw you post about Benny earlier. That Benny album is so good. It's amazing. But yeah,
So
yeah, go ahead.
I was a Griselda, like I would dip and dabble
Mm-hmm.
because of West Side Guns. I would dip and dabble. Then I
Mm-hmm.
started listening to Benny heavy,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'll be selling coke in Buffalo every time I listen to him.
Yeah. It's a fit, like you feel like a dirty nigga when you listen to it in a good way. Like
Yeah,
it's the right type of grimy. Like it's so good and it feels authentic. It doesn't feel like he's putting on. You know what I mean? Like
not at
yeah.
all. It's very authentic feeling, and it's very motivational because I had like this morning I had some business meetings I had to do, and I had the business meeting, and they were like, "Nah, we can't move forward with this," and it was like really like heartbreaking. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Damn, been working like a couple of years with you guys. What's going on?" And it was like, "Nah, we move a different direction." They gave me the WWE talk.
Yeah. We're going
So
in a different direction.
I
Yeah.
worked out. I threw some Benny on. I was like, you know, that album, he talks a lot about his rejection from, you know, the mainstream and then coming into not really
Mm-hmm.
making money and then finally making it big. So that it motivated me through that. But you said Benny, who else?
Outside of Benny, listen. So the Drake album, I'm not saying it's a bad album. There are two songs I listen to on it. Really, like I don't really like delve too deep into it. It's okay. I will always like turn on Supreme Clientele for anything like that. I always revisit that. I always go back to it. I love Ghost. I'll listen to everything before Yeezus. I'll do that with Kanye. But it's always for me. It's like kind of a mix. Like I've been listening to Jameson, R&B. Like it's typically
Jameson?
like a gym. I fuck with Jameson for sure, for sure.
Yo, you're the
Yeah.
first person I've ever met who knows who this guy is.
Yeah, I fuck with Jameson. Well, when we were at the show, when you came to the panel, and of course, like not like I wouldn't shout you out, but I'm glad you were there. I'm glad we got to give you your flowers while you were there. That was super dope. But my man Matt Raz was there. And Matt Raz, you might know Matt. I don't know. Matt produced the Combat Jack show when Combat Jack was still alive. Rest in peace to Combat
Rest
Jack.
in peace to him.
Now he's producing Rory and Mal's show. And so we were
Nice.
talking about that. Like it was funny. I hit the young boys on Twitter. I was like, yo, I just want y'all to know, like Rory and Mal about to do something crazy. Then the next day they announced their deal. So they thought I was cool for that. But no, so Matt was there, but Matt, when he was on the Combat Jack show, DJ Ben Amin was their DJ, and he put me on to a bunch of music. So between that show and Rory and Mal, and Joe, who are super into R&B, I'm like, if they say an R&B act is good, I gotta seek them out. And so yeah, my little brother, God bless him, my little brother lives deep in the hood in District Heights in Maryland. I was staying with him for a few days the week before last, but he always like, if he puts something on, I'm like, oh, this has to be good. Let me listen to it. And so like, if I listen to some real wild R&B, or if I'm listening to like Dirk, it's because of my little brother. So yeah, for sure.
I fuck with Brent Faiyaz.
I'm from DC. Again, like of course I fuck with Brent Faiyaz because like I fuck with that first Gold Link album is fantastic to me. Like so, yeah, I fuck with Brent Faiyaz. And matter of fact, because we thought we could get away with it, we opened a few of the podcasts like a year and a half ago with what was Brent's group? Because they had this song "One Night Only."
Oh, Sonder. Was it?
Yeah, it was Sonder. So we used to play "One Night Only" at the beginning of a lot of our shows. Yeah, I fuck with Brent Faiyaz for sure, for sure.
Now I heard him on Gold Link, and I was just like, "Yo, who is this dude?" Mm-hmm. So the thing is, once I hear you one time, I'm digging through your crate.
For sure.
I'm digging through your crate of music, and I'm listening. And I was like, "Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm gonna grab this." Like I'm so selfish at this point with Brent. I don't want him to blow up.
Because you don't want the music to change. Yeah.
That's just how I am. Because it's like, yo, if this music changes, I'm still gonna stick around because I'm loyal as well. Like The Weeknd, anybody that knows me, like Kanisha, lovely. I'm sorry, the streets know as a lovely. Yeah. I know about her government name. That's what I call her. But she gets used to getting me all the time. It's like, yeah, you listen to this guy all the time because The Weeknd is like, he's changed over the years, but I had to adjust my ears to him.
Yeah, you miss your haunted strip club music? Because I used to love the haunted strip club music. Like House of Balloons is a time for me for sure.
The House of Balloons came at we're on the same age, so it came at a very awkward man time in a lot of men's lives. Like it's like you're kind of older than 21, but you're not really that old. And you're finding yourself within this pool of dating older women of age type of situation. So it's a great album. But knowing what he's done, and me being such an artistic weirdo, I understand his process, because if you follow the albums, it's him making it, being famous, and then now the last album is about him trying to leave the toxicity of Hollywood. So that's why it's like, oh my God, I see what you're trying to do. You kind of gotta like dig deep into that. But the Weeknd changed, but we all know he's changed. But I pronounce his name wrong all the time. Giovanni, what's his name? Giveon.
Giveon, yeah.
You fucking with him?
So it's funny. I know the name. I only really heard him for the first time on that Drake album, and I was like, oh, he's good. I was like, oh, he's really good. Yeah.
He has an album out. It came out. He has a song with Snow. Okay.
Who's cold, by the way. She's super cold. Our music is very good.
Well, Snow is cold musically and physically. that's another level.
You said it. I got to limit how much I say about the milk, but you said it. Hey, I'll rock with you.
Is she milk?
Yes, that is a white lady. Look at your face. Yes, that is a white woman.
No.
I know.
No, you're lying.
Hey, you saw me when I found out about Charlie Caruso. Hey, it's the game, man. It's the
game. No, she's mixed. She has to be. No, you're lying, boy.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, she's like Sade. She's like Sade. She's mixed.
She's not like Sade. She's like Sade in that she's trying to do the thing that Sade does, and they're very good, by the way. But no. That's a white lady.
Fuck.
But hey, really quick, not to throw you off because I see you shocked. The last concert I went to, I think, unless I'm mistaken, the last concert I went to was Division, and that was an amazing show. I love Division, like next level. This would have been late January, early February of 20. It's been 2 years. 2018. Okay. Fantastic show in San Antonio. The girl I was seeing at the time, it was for her birthday. We went to the show. It was amazing. So I love Division's music. Just it doesn't even remind me of anybody's. It's such a, you know what? It's kind of like, I think it reminds me of like Tony's music or Raphael Sadiq's music, but in a way where the production is way more current. But I love Division. Division smokes it. That producer, singer, brother team is just amazing to me, for sure.
Was it for their last album that just came out? With
well, that album wasn't out yet. So the one with the Future track on there was not out yet. That came out last summer, I want to say. So
it did come out last summer.
It was their first 2 albums that they did, and did a bunch of covers and stuff. But like, yeah, Hallucinations in person when you got a girl you can't get over, incredible. It's just like, I'm gonna sit down and cry for a little bit. I'll be right back. Incredible. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna send it to a girl tonight, but you just reminded me about that.
Respect.
Anyways, well, as we continue, let's go into wrestling. Mm-hmm. There's been a very interesting couple of weeks in wrestling, but it hasn't been about stuff in the ring. That's the weird thing about it. There's been stuff outside of the ring. Tony Khan talking wild shit on Twitter. He went on another podcast, talk shit again, and he's just been talking spicy. What are your thoughts on that?
I did cocaine once, and it was so good, I'll never do it again. It literally happened to me. This was like Memorial Day. I think I was still in college. We went to a bar, and somebody was like, "Hey, you trying to hit this?" I said, "Yeah, let's see what's up." And the way I felt after, I was like, I can never do this again, because this is incredible. So imagine you got $1 billion and you're not really worried about the consequences of you doing drugs. That man stays on 10. So I joke around about it with you, but I always I feel like I say it in a way that's super complimentary. Like, your enthusiasm is on another level. Like you run through a wall for what you do every time you do it. And I think like that and the fact that you work so hard, those two things are super commendable, right? So if I had a boss, I would want them to be Tony Khan. I would want that. Like he whether he's right or whether he's wrong, he's putting his neck on the line every single time. And do I think that every single argument that he makes is valid? No, but I don't think you argue to be right. I think you argue to be heard. And so when you are right, it's amplified. You know what I mean? Like I really do. I commend him for just having the stones that he has, man. Like he believes in his product and he will do anything to boost it up. Does it come across as crazy sometimes? Sure, but I know the people under him, like under his wing, under his umbrella, I know they appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you leading right now. You out here in the battlefield with us, talking wild shit, even though it's not true at all. So the other thing that's been going crazy is the sneaker game in wrestling. Yeah. Before we get started, know your opinion, I want to let the streets know that Shane McMahon is the godfather of this shit, but we will continue on with this conversation. No question. You have Top Dollar versus the Young Bucks, talking about who's the flyest, who's the illest when it comes to sneakers. What are your thoughts real quick on that certain situation?
So like... and we talked before the show via text about things we may talk about, what may come up. And like tribalism in wrestling is a super interesting thing. Like you do what you do. I do what I do. We don't get paid by the two majors, right?
You say this a lot.
Huh?
You say this a lot.
I do. Like we don't get paid by the two majors. So like when people choose sides in this thing where they don't actually stand to profit from it, it looks funny to me. You know what I mean? Like, let's appreciate everybody, but let's also be able to joke about everybody. Like, it's not that serious. I think that the Bucks are one, I think they're super talented. Like, I want to say that part. I think they're very talented. I think the thing for me about them is they say like, we pioneered this wrestling style that everybody loves. And I'm like, all right, I get you, but that doesn't mean other people don't do it better. And I think you're very, very good. But like that's like James Naismith saying, y'all couldn't play basketball without me. I'd rather watch Mike play, dog. Like that's just how I feel. I think that them all of a sudden having like expensive sneakers on shows, I think that's a layer of character that you're supposed to dislike, right? And I think when Top Dollar says something like they're just wearing these shoes as a show, I think that's also true. Like, I don't think like everything that's a joke isn't a damning shot. That's always been my biggest thing, right? But like people want to choose sides. They want to be like, Top Dollar, you broke. It's like, no, he's not broke. He was in the league long enough to where he has an NFL pension. Like, he's fine. What are you talking about? But and then on the flip side, it turns into, oh, the Bucks are fake and the Bucks are corny. They're faking corny on purpose. Like, that's their thing, right? Like, so I wish that everybody could step back and do like what we did. Like, you came to where I was basically at work, right? That panel was work, for lack of a better way of saying it. You know what happened after work? We got together, we went to a bar and we had drinks, and we wasn't talking about no wrestling. Me and you were talking about other things. We talking about the gym. We talking about hanging out. Like, there's a world outside of this. And I'm not saying that when you talk about wrestling, you have to ignore wrestling. What I'm saying is people who are well-rounded, people who have things going on in their life, they don't take all this as serious. They can appreciate it for its artistic value and for the jokes and keep it moving. Like, we don't have to choose sides in a war that we can't win.
That is very much true. These are my thoughts real quick to go off of what you just said. First of all, they're both corny. Because
okay. All right.
As being a man that is very much corny, I smell corny when I see it.
Well, you know, I don't pretend not to be either. Like, I'm aware of, you know, I'm sitting in a room. I got a Marvel Comics poster right there. I ain't watched Rocky in forever. I still got a Kanye poster that my friends told me to never put up again. I'm sitting on, well, next to me is a WrestleMania from Miami chair. There's one on the other side. I have a life-size Sasha Banks somebody bought as a joke So no, and a box of comic books like right off to the side. So no, I'm right there with you for sure.
No, I smell it, and it's okay, and it's okay for them being corny because I am one as well. Now, them going at each other, I love it. This is content for me and other podcasters. This is great shit. Thank you for doing this. Now, when it comes to the sneaker game, I agree with him when it comes to the Bucks. I don't think they wore sneakers like that before because they never really talked about it. Now, when it comes to tribalism is a human trait.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah,
I am an Eagles fan. And I remember I tweeted out, I said, I really hope that Troy Aikman is not like John Gruden. Because I actually like Troy Aikman. And it's more because he's a commentator at this point. I got DMs and I got people at me like, yo, you an Eagles fan. Why are you saying this about Troy? I was like, he's a human being and he doesn't even play for the Cowboys anymore. Why are you coming at me? But is there tribalism inside of our youth? Because remember, we were all in different tribes. Maybe you were part of the Okaloko tribe and I was part of the Ukalaka tribe. And we probably didn't like each other. I don't know that, but I'm just making this up. But this is common human nature. Now,
see, I agree, but here's be my only difference though. Like I was at a bar on Sunday watching the Cowboys game with an Eagles fan, right?
Yeah.
Big muscly dude. Apparently that's who my friends are. Here we go. But yeah, we're talking about we're gonna get together to watch the game when it happens. But I think the difference is like we don't root for different movie studios. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that if in a perfect world, and even if it's worked, even if it's completely predetermined, a couple of times a year we get an AEW versus WWE match. Like that's a perfect world where you can really choose a side and kind of jump from there. Like when they try to do like the brand wars thing, like are you SmackDown or are you Raw? I'm like the paychecks coming from the same office every single time, the same time of day. So no, I agree, but I think my problem with the tribalism is typically like the way that they try to talk about the other companies ignores what's going on with their company. Like I'm an unabashed Washington football fan. I know we're trash. Like I as an institution, like what we did with Sean Taylor's retirement, garbage. How we treated those cheerleaders on that trip, good God, garbage. Like the front office is terrible. We've been bad forever, and I think that's what gets me. I will admit us being terrible, even in an argument. Like, and again, I don't want to go too far, but basically, fans got mad at me for saying that I'm not watching Crown Jewel because of and I said it in a way that maybe could be misconstrued, but people want to misconstrue things. What I said was, I wish the people hosting Crown Jewel weren't the same people who I feel like ran the 9/11 play. That's what I said, right? People were so upset as if I was insinuating that the citizens of Saudi Arabia somehow got their money together and financed 9/11. Like, I was just like, one, you people are idiots. Number two, you just want to be mad at somebody. You want somebody to attack, right?
Listen, that was a wild tweet. I want you to know that.
It's wild, but it's not factually inaccurate. That's the thing. I say a lot of wild shit, but it's not like I'm saying like you ain't never gonna hear me say, "Oh, this wrestler be sucking people's dicks all the time," or nothing like that. I would never. Like, even if my wording is colorful, it's never slanderous to the point of not being true. And if it is something that's not true, it's so hyperbolic, you should just know. Yeah, that's all.
You know what it is? There's honest fans and then there's fans. There's mega fans and then there's hardcore fans. Because I'm an honest fan. Like once again with you, I know the Eagles aren't good. I think Jalen Hurts is very much overrated. He can't throw. He's very athletic, but he can't throw a football. Like
y'all traded Hurts. What the? Anyway, keep going.
No, he really can't. He really can't. He really can't throw. And everybody keeps saying that he can. They keep saying like I'm watching him, and he can't throw. And the thing is, once again, I'm talking as a fan. I know you can throw better than me, Jalen Hurts, if you're listening to this. But you can't throw NFL wise. You're not very accurate, but that's a different conversation. But that's being an honest fan. The thing is, when it comes to wrestling fans, like you mentioned before, this is all a lot of them all they have. Mm-hmm. This is something that they need to attach on for identity purposes. Now, these are things that I understand. I understand for years WWE has been racist. For years. There's plenty of things that made me very, very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Even as a small child, watching it like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Because my third eye was somewhat open. But I understand that they're trying to change things. And you know why I understand it? Because I know Black people that work for WWE that have told me, hey, they are trying to adjust certain things.
Absolutely.
But I will always, if somebody says, well, WWE has, I was like, yes, you're right. They had years of racism. Years. And you know what? AEW did put a title on a transgender woman. And I fucking loved it. And I fuck with Nyla because she fuck with the pod. If you give me a shout out.
Super sweet. Yeah.
Super sweet, super nice. And she's hot. I ain't gonna hold you. I like a little thick, so she's hot. Whatever. But they doing things wrong now that could be better. Yeah. So I think it's this weird thing where you have the honest fans that understands like, yo, these are things that are wrong, but these are things that are right. And I understand that. But when it comes to wrestling fans, they think whatever company that they're fucking with is absolutely perfect, and you can't say nothing back. Because don't get me wrong, maybe sometimes somebody will say something about The Rock because I'm mega biased about him. Like, yo, don't say nothing about this man.
For real.
But
that's my guy.
But it's the homie. I feel like he's my best friend, but he's not my best friend. Whatever. It's a different conversation. But let's move on.
Well, real quick, and I just want to say this too. I think the hard part for people who do what you and I do is like we have relationships with people in these companies. So it's a natural like reaction, like for somebody, like when somebody calls me an e-drone, I get so offended because I'm like, the conversations that I have about wrestling are typically with AEW wrestlers, but I'm also not corny to the point where my response is going to be, man, I'll be talking to whatchamacallit, and I got pictures with blah, 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 blah. You can look at the conversation with, and it's like, man, I wish I could just tell you where I actually stand, but there's also like the integrity of being a content creator that you don't want to expose. And so like people, like you said, like they're fans and they really are outside of this bubble. And so you can't say anything like complicated or layered without them getting upset because they don't see the full picture. It's very difficult to digest sometimes.
Because sometimes I talk about match structure and match and a match being believable. And I always say the Bucks are great, but it's a Fast and the Furious.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not a deep story in their matches at all. Like you just look at Kenny versus DB. BD now at this point. Yeah. Look at that. That's a completely different type of match. I prefer that. But when people say, when I say something about the Bucks, they go, you hate AEW. No, I don't. I just don't like that it's always Fast and the Furious. I want a little.
They crucified me. They crucified me for saying that. If you watch both the Bucks and the Usos, I don't know how you're watching the Bucks and think that they're better. To me, that's not slander. It's not. Like for me, including you in the conversation is saying how good you are. But again, it turned into you hate AEW. WWE is stupid and I won't watch. How can you be better if you have DWIs? Like all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do. Oh, and my favorite one about the Bucks, a wrestling company was created because of them. How can you get better than that? I'm like, we're having a different conversation. Like
it wasn't created because of them, but okay.
But I understand what people were saying.
No. You gave them too much credit, bro. You gave them too much goddamn credit. We are not doing this right now.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to that, we revolutionized this style of tag team wrestling. And again, I'm not knocking you for what you do. What you do is very good.
I need you to stop saying that. I need you to stop saying that because they did not. The people that actually did is SAT.
Okay.
Spanish Announce Table are the ones who really put this high flying, high energy type of wrestling into the business. Now, did the Bucks take it to the next level? Yes, because you can say, hey, Allen Iverson was one of the best with the crossover, and now we got Kyrie.
For sure.
In my opinion.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like, I'm not me saying that Kyrie has the best handles I've seen is not me denigrating Allen Iverson. It's not.
Yeah. But
exactly.
my whole thing is that people really don't, because once again, like I'm a little biased, but I'll be honest with you. Amazing Red, Spanish announce table, their revolution, the wrestling that we see is because of them.
Oh, when people say who do I feel is the most influential wrestler to this generation, it's Amazing Red. Like, because I think Rey Mysterio is technically a generation before. But yeah, and Eddie would be too. But Amazing Red was just the stuff that he was doing, what I saw in TNA. He got John Cena doing Code Reds. Like, Amazing Red is, like, as a singles guy, to me, he's the most influential wrestler on this generation. And it's probably like, if we're talking about, and we're going to get into it, but like I say Daniel Garcia and Lee Moriarty, that's probably more Daniel Bryan, but they're still babies.
I like that one. I like that one.
They're still babies in the game. So I'd say, yeah, Amazing Red is absolutely the guy for me who I feel like had the most influence on this generation currently. He's man, he'll get his flowers, but it's going to be too late. Like, somebody should just give him a bunch of money.
He's gotten a little bit of flower because you spoke about Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio did admit, like, yo, I took some of your moves.
Hey, there you go.
He took something like, literally the 205 Live was Amazing Red.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know is that this, I'm going to put this out here. He probably going to be tight that I said this, but Bianca versus Sasha Banks was low-key produced by Amazing Red.
Because it was produced by Tyson Kidd, who was one of those disciples, for sure. I'm right there with you. Absolutely.
No, I'm talking about he was. Because he.
Oh, never mind. Let me. Hey, behind the curtain. Okay, there we go.
He definitely. No, he was one of the main, and him and Tyson are cool. Remember that. So he had a lot of say in what the match, because also Sasha trains with Amazing Red.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't like, I guess it's Amazing Red Day, but like what he's done in the business, low key, is absolutely phenomenal, and he understands that. And this from what I've spoken to him and everything, he understands that maybe he went a little too far, and the industry has taken it a little too far with his stuff. Mm-hmm. But him and SAT, because they're all related, they're cousins, really are the ones who revolution. Now, once again, guys like Swerve, guys like Trey Miguel, for instance, what's his name? Damn,
I was gonna say put the ACH in there, put the NSK kids in there.
Yeah, all these guys, and I know we don't speak much about Will. Took some stuff from him too. I know he's a little hippie right now in the streets, but he took some stuff. And then when it comes to the tag team, the Young Bucks, they may not admit it, but they took some stuff from SAT as well. And then they took it and did their own stuff, added super kicks, and then obviously before that, Shawn Michaels is blessing half of this generation.
Absolutely.
But once again, nothing against the Bucks. They're super. So for what they do, it takes another level of talent.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't need you to do. It's like having sex. You did all your freaky shit the first time we had sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now the fifth time, what are we doing?
I'm trying to kick it. Like, I ain't trying to, I got enough going on during the day, babe. I'm trying to have a little bit of fun. Like, I'm not trying to go crazy every time. It ain't always Valentine's Day. It ain't always your birthday. I'm not always off this hen. Like, let's be cool.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot going on in wrestling. What are you? We spoke some negative. We spoke some positive. What are you currently enjoying in professional wrestling right now?
So my favorite thing right now is a youth movement, man. We're at this point where I think, all due respect to the Four Horsewomen, because I never want to denigrate them and how good they are. There's always the argument that has NXT made stars, and I'm immediately like, they got 4 women And then you throw Bianca in there, you throw Asuka in there. Of course, like they have really, and Asuka, in all fairness, was already somebody before that. But they've done that. I consider Roman Reigns to be NXT. I don't think FCW is like this real different thing. And then you got Big E too. Like their top champions are guys from there. But what I really like right now, and this is like a pro AEW thing, AEW was not afraid to go out and get this young hot talent, let them keep the names that they had on these indies and throw them right in there with top guys like Daniel Garcia. One of the most talented kids I've ever seen, and the sweetest kid in the whole world. And I know it's weird calling like kids sweet, like, but I'm 35. I can say you're a sweet kid. They immediately were like, "Yo, we trust you to go out here and have matches with our top guys." Lee Moriarty, who I think is also going to be in that role, he's done the Bobby Fish thing, is also going to be there. I love the youth movement on their side to say, "Yo, we got these young talented kids that our audience knows. Our audience has been to these smaller shows to go watch them. They have tracked them down on YouTube. Shout out to Tiger Driver making these fantastic playlists so you can see these young kids." But on their side, they have not had any problem integrating young talent into their main show. On the WWE side, I really do like this NXT 2.0 thing where I do think guys like Kyle O'Reilly, who I love. Kyle O'Reilly had a run of tag team matches on takeovers where he just was not missing and has not missed. But I hate that he's kind of lost in the shuffle. I hate that the structure wasn't right for Adam Cole to stay, but I like that all of a sudden there's Braun Breaker, there's Carmelo Hayes. You know, like they have like Odyssey Jones. They got all of a sudden this young talent they're not afraid to put out there who are shining. Indy Hartwell, great character so far. So I really like that their main roster hasn't quite done it. I think that you can say with Bianca, I think just because I watch so much NXT, she doesn't feel quote unquote young. But yeah, the youth movement in wrestling right now is really good. If you've been around for a while, there are brand new people that you can watch who they are not afraid to put in the forefront and say, "Hey, here's what's coming next. Watch these guys." I love that. I love that all of a sudden, all the wrestlers ain't my age. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not all touching 35, just getting their break. I like that the kids are really getting their shine. Absolutely.
I think it's at a point where they have no choice.
Yeah.
I think it's really both, and this is both companies, because I had spoke about this like a while, like maybe a couple months back. I was like, "Yo, where's the next level of women that's going to be coming up after the Four Horsewomen? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who's the next up after this?" And you know what? They did some Lacey Evans stuff, but you know she got preggo and dipped out for a little bit, and Bianca was the only one. But then now with NXT 2.0, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm still waiting for it to start hitting. You know what I mean? Like
I got you.
Let's let it hit. But they have to, because people are aging out. Like I swear, I believe Charlotte is 1 foot in and 1 foot out right now.
I think Sasha's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like Becky's on billions. Like they are. I don't know if okay, let's just say I had 5 people, right? 6 people, 4 horsewomen, Bianca, Roman. Who's there in 3 years? Bayley, probably. And I think that Becky's more on a Steve Austin route where there are going to be opportunities for her to play tough person on X, Y, and Z, right? But I still think wrestling is going to be like her primary thing. And I think it's the same thing with Bayley. I don't know if Bayley has aspirations outside of wrestling. Ain't no way they got Sasha Banks in 3 years, man.
No.
There's no way. Like you said with Charlotte is like, her and Bianca's exchange on Monday was just so natural and made sense for their two characters. You don't get that from most wrestlers, not even talking women. Just most wrestlers can't do the thing that they did. So yeah, and again, I don't know how they have Bianca in 3 years, man. That you know how they have Bianca in 3 years if Tez has a world title. Like seriously,
I think they're working on that, because I think they have her in 3 years because it's one of those people that they took care of.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to make you a star, and they slowly built up, because I was saying this from the beginning. When she first came up, and then sadly, I'm agreeing with a white man's opinion on a black woman. When Sam Roberts said that comment, I agreed with him. I was like, listen, Shorty has it, but we gotta. It's not. Don't take out the oven yet.
Okay.
Let it cook. Give her a couple of chances. Show what she did, but then this past year and a half blew up because they took their time with her, and like you said, that match with Charlotte,
they smoked it. They smoked it. They smoked the promo. They smoked the match.
Was her best match ever.
Yeah. They smoked, and another layer of that, like they let them walk around in like street clothes. They look like people. They act like people. They talk like people. Like it's so thorough. Like again, I think Sasha is probably in ring. Sasha is probably, man, I might have Jazz and Karma above her for different reasons, but Sasha's right there with the most talented women I've ever seen in ring. I think the only thing that Sasha's not amazing at is the promo, because I feel like Sasha is a person who does not say a whole lot in real life. Like, I just think she's kind of not even like she's quiet. I just don't really got a lot to talk to you about. I think that when she gets on the mic, she feels like she has to fit every single word into a short period of time. But she's so good in the ring, she's still an A+. Like, she's still way, way up there.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, Bayley's gotten great at it. But yeah, between Bianca and Charlotte, you're just not going to get many more conversations that are more natural than that.
Yeah, it's I'm with you 100%. I think you were very nice about that. I think Sasha's trash on the mic. That was very nice of you the way you put it, but she's a trash. A1 in-ring skills. For me, out of the 4 horsewomen, my favorite is Bayley. I think she's a complete package, especially with the heel turn and what she's done with a lot of other things. Bianca's next up because, and I've said this multiple times, she's able to be a babyface in a time where it's hard to be a babyface.
Yeah.
Because we see it all the time. Fans just turn on babyfaces. Babyfaces come off too corny.
Shout out to MSK for no reason.
Roman, for instance, Drew McIntyre right now. And like when Bianca turns that next corner, because she already turned the corner of becoming great in the ring, that next corner she comes, she's a legend. And the reason why I think she's going to be here in 3 years, because I already think they already had that conversation with her, like, you're going to be the face of the women's division moving forward. Slowly but surely, you're going to be the face of this. So please. And because they got her on everything. They got her doing C4 commercials. They got her doing this commercial, this commercial, this commercial. Yo, she's going to be on that Rock type level for the women's division. And you're a black woman that's a fucking mega athlete. Come on, you out of here. They gotta keep her. They have no choice of giving them the bag out now. But Montez, you mentioned him. Rumor has it is that match with Roman was a test.
Yeah, and he smoked it.
He smoked it.
Yeah.
So, but imagine both of them having that Becky and Seth thing, but at another level of more charisma, more swagginess.
Different WrestleMania.
Swagginess.
Boy, them doing the Eddie Benoit thing at the end of a WrestleMania, it's different, man. Like that carries, that resonates. Like I've always said this too, and I think that if people go back and really look at it, we would never argue that WWE is not racist and has not done super racist things. Like we can point to a million moments. The Mexicools, for example, right? But even here's one thing about racist institutions. Racist institutions, in a lot of cases, still want black dollars, right? I think that Vince McMahon has always wanted the all-American black athlete because the all-American black athlete has always made every institution so much money. It's like we talked about on the panel, like when Texas won that championship in '66, it was because we were one of the first teams to fully integrate. All of a sudden, The team's better, right? So if you go back to it, you got Ahmed Johnson, who they tried with. You got injuries, you got weight issues, doesn't really work. You get Farouk, you get Ron Simmons at a bit too late of an age to where you can't really capitalize on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you also got Brett, Shawn, and Undertaker really hitting that mark at that point. So you can't really do it. You got Rock, who I'm gonna count. I don't really have back and forth conversations about how black is somebody. I don't do that with nobody. If there are people out there calling you the hard R, you black. And I know he dealt with that. Like, that's just what it is. But then you go down the road, you still got a Shelton Benjamin, who they tried with, and it didn't work because Shelton's in-ring, Shelton's personality don't match the in-ring. It just doesn't. As much as I like the guy. You got Lashley. The only reason that didn't work is because they pushed the wrong buttons back in 2006, right? But then you turn around, and MVP, I think the thing with MVP was he was about the art. I think he became about the business a bit later. But he did his Japan thing, and he came back and helped Lashley ultimately really get to that level. I think that the reason that they got Big E, the reason you get an Iowa lineman who can lift every weight in the gym is because you have him on that trajectory, and that did work out. So they've always wanted white meat, babyface, all-American black athlete. I think they never thought it was going to come from a woman. And all of a sudden, Bianca checks off all the boxes. Oh, you ran track at Tennessee. Oh, you have this incredible physique. Oh, you can dress. Oh, you can talk. Oh, you're beautiful. And we can teach you our style, but in a way that's unique to yourself. Like all the boxes. And so, and I don't want to disrespect Sasha by saying she didn't also meet that mark. So shout out to Sasha, but yeah, Bianca is just in a way that Bayley does. Bianca not only checks off all the boxes, but some of that stuff she's writing off the goddamn paper, man. She's amazing. And yeah, it's if you have somebody that you can continue to build off of, you tell them, like you said, in advance, and yeah, I think they're gonna have a great run with her. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think you also forgot to mention Mark Henry.
I absolutely, and who Olympian Mark Henry. Here's the thing you'll like about Mark Henry. When I was in high school 18 years ago, I was a power lifter my junior year. And we're talking about going to these meets. Yeah, power lifter at 140, right? We're talking about going to these meets. And our coach is like, yeah, so here are all the records for the state. I don't know if you know this guy, Marcus Henry from wrestling. He still had all the records in 2002. Like he graduated high school in 93? Something like that. Yeah.
So on an athletic level, so my story about Mark Henry, I met him. We had done some business with him, my podcast and my former business partner. We did like a hosting gig for him, whatever, years ago. And this is the only story I ever feel proud about when it came to meeting him. Because I was just like, yo, hey, I powerlift too. At the time I had just finished like my 2-year run of powerlifting. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, cool. What's your numbers? I was like, oh, my best number is my bench is 370. He looked at me in such shock. He was like, you really bench that much? I was like, yeah. He's like, how much do you weigh? At the time, I was like 205, maybe 210. He's like, Jesus. I was like, yeah, feel good about myself.
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
But the reason why I always respect him because he's super natural, all natural, no drugs. He won one of the first strongman Arnold's. And he, like you said, he has all these fucking records. I think he didn't work out in the beginning of wrestling because wrestling is you have to be loose. Loose. You got to be fluid. Mm-hmm. And you come from being an Olympic lifter, power lifter type of thing. Everything's about rigid tightness.
Mm-hmm.
To go to that's why he didn't work out. Plus, he was injuries.
Yeah, I think that's what Ahmed Johnson too. While we're talking about it, but yeah, for sure. I'm saying that's what I think got Ahmed Johnson. The style of what they want you to do, the type of movement you need to do. Yeah, I think that hampered him because I think he was lifting like he was lifting in the league for sure.
Yeah, he was lifting, and it's like your range of motion changes because I'm training right now, so I have to relearn how to move.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from a lifting background, you're like, okay, my explosion is there. I can do a leapfrog any day with anybody. Mm-hmm. But moving in this thing and moving and like move like a boxer type and it's a whole different thing. I think that's why it didn't work out with him. But like you said, it's been a long and the new guy that this guy from the Olympics,
the Stevenson kid, yeah,
he's another kid. So you are that whole theory might be 100% right. Like, yeah. And he might be like, yo, I want a brother that can. That's an whole.
Yeah, I think they love it, but just because like it's such kind of an untapped thing in wrestling specifically. Like, yeah. There's again like the black dollar is important, man, and clearly like white people didn't turn away when it was The Rock. They didn't turn away when it was Mark Henry. They didn't turn away when it was Booker T. Like they find value in these things too, but you can also get a new subset of people to tune in. And I think Vince is a smart guy and he's always seen value in that. Absolutely.
I think when AEW kind of like pushes the EVPs a little bit away, they'll get more into that. I think right now their biggest thing is like your EVPs are the hottest thing in your fan base. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. That's their major issue. So it's like, hey, these guys are the hottest things in professional wrestling outside of WWE. So we gotta keep using them. Quickly, Cody. Your thoughts on Cody? I love Cody. I can't stand him at the same time.
Cody was my favorite wrestler in WWE during the Mask and post-Mask. I went to a house show here in Austin where Cody was like, if you like that, wait till I'm the world heavyweight champion. Like Cody was on a path. I don't know what changed at that point. I think my thing is you either think he lacks self-awareness or he's a super genius that knows everything. I do not think it's a super genius part. I think that Cody grew so much good faith with that list that he made when he left WWE. I think he thought that thing was going to carry him forever. Shout out to my late homeboy, Shelton. Shout out to Shells. Shells and Renee. Whenever Cody would talk about like going to New Japan or whatever he was doing, they were like, it's cool, but Cody's super mid. And I was like, Cody's not mid. What are you talking about? Like, Cody's good. And then I started to watch. I'm like, this is kind of average what I'm seeing in the ring. And I think that what the hardest thing for Cody, if you want to explain Cody to somebody, tell them to watch the Anthony Ogogo feud. Just watch that. I think that Cody misread a room that he thought he owned, and he's not recovered from it since. Again, I think he's an all-time talker. I think he can talk you into watching a match. I don't think that when he's in the ring, he performs at a level that's as good as what he performs like on the mic.
I'm with that. I agree and disagree with you. I think he's solid in the ring. Mm-hmm. Solid, not mid. I think he's a little bit above mid. I think he's like.
I think he's good. Like when I say mid, I certainly don't mean it as like disrespect. I think he's good. Like I know
what you mean. Yeah. I just think he's a little bit better than good because he knows how to tell a story a little bit better than the average person in the ring.
I agree with that.
But my issue sometimes is like, Cody, you're smarter than this. Like he's that friend that keeps doing dumb shit, and you're like, yo, I know you can do better. Why are you doing this dumb shit overall? Because I think he's a star. I don't think he's a mega superstar, but I think he's a star. But he thinks he's a mega superstar.
I think I don't think Cody knows how much Triple H he actually has in him.
Oh, he's 100% Triple H. 100%.
Yeah, and again, being Triple H will carry you through life. But I think that his pushback against Triple H ignores a lot of things that are simply true about him. They are the guys that Triple H tried to say Daniel Bryan was, and Daniel Bryan is showing every single week why he's more than what Triple H said he was.
Yeah. I can go with that. I can go with that one. I fucks with that one. We talked about what you love in wrestling. What are you hating right now in wrestling?
I think that I'm not going to say WWE's in the mud because I think they do a lot of positive things, but I also think that they think that trying something new is putting the belt on somebody else, right? I think that trying something new is adjusting structure and match length and match style and promo style. And I think that they are so dedicated to what they're doing that they don't want to adjust. Like, make the set a little bit brighter, make the stage a little bit shorter. Don't give us people already in the ring with their music playing. Like, I think they really need to, on their end, stop these damn gimmick pay-per-views. And I think they're doing that. Like, I think TLC is not happening. I think that has always been a creative, like, crutch that they've kind of sat on. So I don't like the monotony on the main roster. Switching up your rosters isn't quite enough for me. That's on their side. On the AEW side, it's funny. Like, again, people think I just love WWE so much. I don't have a lot to complain about with AEW, but I do think, like, you should have Black people in your main event. I think what they've done with Powerhouse Hobbs has been really cool. I think they have him right there on the cusp. I love that CM Punk either chose him or somebody chose him to go against Punk so early on. I think that helps. But, like, let's not pretend like the male singles division is not the main event of every wrestling promotion, basically outside of WoW. It just is, right? So, again, shout out to Nyla Rose, who's been doing her thing, has been great in her role. They absolutely treated her well, but the show is not structured around the women's title as the perennial main event thing. It's not. It's not structured as the tag titles as a perennial main event thing. Like, every wrestling promotion before it that does not have one specific gender or one specific division, it is about the men's world title. It just is. And so we should have Black male world title contenders. And is it kind of Cody's fault? Yes, but Cody's the one that came out and said African Americans are at the forefront of every athletic endeavor that exists. Why aren't they going to be that in AEW? Why shouldn't they be that in our company? And was he speaking out of turn? It looks like he was, but I can't pretend like somebody who wasn't perceived as being in charge didn't say that. And so it should just be, if what you are doing is supposed to reflect the world, allow it to reflect the world. That's my biggest complaint with them. But even with both of those things, like, I think there are, WWE is doing more good than bad. AEW is absolutely doing more good than bad. So even the things that I don't like aren't necessarily damning with so much good going on. Oh my God, I just said something super positive. Twitter will not believe it was me.
Well, I'm going to use both of them on Twitter on your clip. So
you should absolutely.
I'm going to use both negative things about both companies.
I need that. I need that energy. That's coming.
You mentioned a couple of things that I want to touch on before we head out of here. CM Punk. CM Punk has returned. He has been, the biggest talk of the town for, about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. But many feel that he's lost some steam since his return. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree. I think that, you're hot that first time, that first match, that second match. Like, your first match being on pay-per-view, crowd's going to go nuts. Your next match on TV, crowd's going to go nuts. I think that, CM Punk was the hottest thing in the world, but he was the hottest thing in the world because he was counterculture to John Cena. And that's not a knock on CM Punk. That's about fulfilling a role. Like, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird would have went to the Hall of Fame regardless, but they had each other. And they were such a juxtaposition where Larry Bird is considered to be small town, hardworking, great white hope. And Magic Johnson is perceived to be flashy, Hollywood, Showtime, slick, all-world point guard, 6'8" out of position. And those things helped each other. Like, it does not take away from what either of them did, but John Cena being classic WWE archetype with build and how they can present him, and CM Punk not being those things. And it's a newer version of Hogan and Macho, right? Like it kind of fulfills that. CM Punk right now does not have the person to play off of where you can build off of that tribalism that we talked about. Because even in WWE, inside of a company like that, there's tribalism with fans who want tradition versus fans who want change but don't want to take their dollars elsewhere. It absolutely exists. So has he lost steam? For sure, but I think that CM Punk can be CM Punk with the right opponent. Like, I think that, if they do CM Punk and Hook, I think it can explode because Hook is this untapped potential thing, but then you flip it to CM Punk being kind of the establishment and Hook being this wild card. You know what I mean? Like, there's a young guy out there that CM Punk isn't going to have to act like he loves, who can bring that thing out in him, because CM Punk is not counterculture to the Bucks. He's not counterculture to Omega. He's not counterculture to Page, because these are all guys who paved their own way when they said they weren't going to be able to do it. That's literally who CM Punk is. So maybe MJF and CM Punk is a thing. Maybe him and Starks is a thing. But yeah, CM Punk is still going to be considered great, still going to be respected. But right now, CM Punk doesn't have that person across from him that can accentuate what he does outside of the ring.
Well, he's not that great in the ring, so his matches don't give nobody gives a fuck about his matches. That's number one. Number two is they should flip it. You have become the business.
You're the establishment, for sure.
You are the establishment. Mm-hmm. And that could be a great thing of him and Page coming up. Or
Page is great, by the way. I just want to say, Page is great. He's great. Everybody,
I've never heard one of the few baby faces
bad about him. Yeah, nobody's ever talked bad about him that I've talked to who knows him. And it's unfortunate for fans, certainly not for him. Like, God bless his family. I'm glad he got to be there for the birth of his kid. I'm glad they're healthy, both the wife and kid. That's great. It's unfortunate that the storyline couldn't quite play out the way that it did, but I don't feel like they lost so much steam it's going to hurt. Like, this Page Omega thing is still very much in play. He cut a damn near perfect promo on Saturday. He's great. That's working out great. But it could be that. It could be CM Punk, you're everything you said you weren't going to be, and it could be Punk pretending to fight against that, for sure.
Yeah, it works perfect. It's been done numerous times. We've seen it. But it's that old, is it a Batman line? It wasn't Batman. It's die a hero or see yourself or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And absolutely. I think CM Punk is at that point where he's becoming the villain. Everything that he hates. Bro, you can play off the fact that he was on WWE's TV show backstage. You can play off the fact that he came back really for the money, because we all know he came back for the money. I don't care what nobody says.
It's the love, Wilkins. It's the love.
Yeah, bro.
I love being here. I love it.
My boss is Tony Khan, and I work 1 day a week. Like, come on. Like, I'm getting paid these fire checks. Fire checks. But yeah, I think to go back to what you're saying is CM Punk we could switch that up. My biggest thing is I want bigger story arcs in wrestling. Mm-hmm. I'm a story guy. I remember Rosenberg said this. He's like, all you guys can wrestle. There's a reason why you guys are signed. Mm-hmm. I want to see stories. I want to see promos. I want to be. I want Dragon Ball Z type of story arcs where the credits come up at the bottom, and I don't know, and I gotta wait till next week to watch.
Yeah, no, like, and to piggyback what you're saying, Ember Moon should have been the person to beat Asuka on the main roster. Like, it was right there. That. It was right, because they had some of the best women's matches ever in the company in NXT, and Ember couldn't quite get over her, right? So Asuka left undefeated. Ember got that title after Asuka left. So Ember, like, you don't have Asuka win that Rumble, because I don't think Asuka or Charlotte gained anything off of her losing the Rumble or losing the WrestleMania match after winning the Rumble. But when you finally put the title on Asuka, Ember should be the one to run through her, because the story is right there. Like, as much as you want more stories, I hate a half-ass story. It's like, no, you can keep telling this. Your roster is so deep. You can keep doing it. I was pleading for that. I was praying for that. But I'm right there with you. I want Page Omega, but on more levels. Like, you have the time and ability to do it, for sure.
Yeah, like, their match is like in 2-3 weeks, I think it is, from what I remember. It's like November 13th or something like that. And bro, let's work. Let's work. Like, you don't have to give me matches. We don't have to wrestle. Let's work promos. Kenny is Kenny. Kenny's so glow Kenny. He does what he does. But let's work this. Paige can put on a promo. Like, let's really work. Let's mesh with each other. Let's get some psychology outside the ring. And then when the match happens, it's amazing because they both can wrestle. The reason why DB versus Kenny was so good was because the first 2 minutes they did nothing. They told a story for the first 2 minutes of that match. And that's all. That's what I want. I want some story arcs that's going left, going right. I want some Final Fantasy shit, Final Fantasy 7 shit. I want 3-disc PlayStation 1 shit, like for all my things. But that's in due time. Before we end all of this, because we've been talking for a while, it's over an hour of shit, and I fucking love it. Let's talk about one thing. What is your hot take? What is one hill that you're gonna die on, and you don't care what no wrestling fan says?
Hill I'm gonna die. I've been thinking about this all day because we talked about it. That's the thing. Like, I don't think I think anything crazy. It just comes across crazy when I say it. Here's this is a light one, and people may remember this and they may not. I think one of the biggest mistakes made with the new ECW was not having an actual hardcore match between the ECW originals and the new guys at WrestleMania. They did it on the show the week after, or the same week. I think they missed out on making Elijah Burke a star. I think it was right there for it to happen. I think he had all the tools. He could talk. He could go in the ring, had a great look. I think they really messed that up. But damn, like, that's so light. A hot take. I don't actually dislike Sting as much as people think I do. I think that he's just fine. I just think he's lazy and he's been stealing money for 20 years. Lead me down a path. Because I don't think I have like these weird wrestling thoughts. What? Oh, I got one. John Cena should have never wrestled Rey Mysterio for the WWE title the night after Rey Mysterio competed in 2 matches in a tournament. I think it was one of the most tone-deaf things I've ever seen. People have swept it under the rug. People have acted like it didn't happen. But that was when John Cena became a heel to me. It was one of the most selfish things I've ever seen. It had no reason to exist. Like, yeah, it is fucking gross. Like, I hate that. Damn. Like I'm really like searching for it. I don't have any, Wilkins. Like, I don't have hot takes in wrestling. Why don't you give me one and I'll tell you how I feel about it.
I have a bunch. These are my like legit shit I'm on. Number one, I think Sting is overrated as fuck. For sure. I never thought he was that great. I just thought he was at the right place at the right time, and he was okay. Sting is your coworker that does just enough to not get fired.
Yeah.
That's who Sting is, and he has a little bit of extra talent, a little bit of charisma, but that's who he is to me. Number two, John Cena was a much more profitable piece to WWE than The Rock and Stone Cold were. Don't argue with me. That's just my philosophy on it because he stayed a lot longer. Yes, Stone Cold did what he did. Rock did what he did. But for me, being the only guy to carry a company by yourself says a lot. Number three, I think CM Punk sucks in the ring. Not sucks, but he's just not good in the ring. I hate his matches. I think his best attribute is his mic skills. And we suck him way too hard when it comes to in-ring ability because he's just okay. Okay. Number four, I'm going to keep going with this. Shawn Michaels birthed half these motherfuckers that are out right now, and the person who godfathered these motherfuckers was Amazing Red.
Yeah.
Also, Jade is the future, but they got to pull back the reins on her just a little bit. And the reason why they're pushing us on because they're so desperate to have a woman superstar. They need somebody else to come up, and I feel they wasted their time of not putting Thunder Rosa as somebody that could balance out Jade to cover up Jade's flaws. That's another problem. Britt Baker, she's just okay in the ring. Super sweet girl, phenomenal on the mic. I think she should have shorter matches. My opinion on that one. Because I suck, and my teacher told me I had to have shorter matches, so I understand. The thing is, everything I say is because it's from experience and understanding other things outside of, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's from a fan standpoint, but it's also like, I know, like, I see what I'm supposed to be seeing.
Absolutely.
Who else? Montreal Screwjob was a work. I don't care what nobody says. Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler, but he sabotaged WWE for many years.
Yeah.
What else?
Let me ask you, do you think his second run was better than his first run?
Second one was much better than his first run. The first one was right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is because we go the steroid trial.
Yeah.
Vince needing another superstar. Wrestling, when it comes to superstars, it's all about timing.
Yeah.
I love The Rock, but we all know why he became a mega superstar that he was. Stone Cold got injured. You are the next. It's like football. You're second on the depth chart.
Next man up.
Man up. And the thing about it, you kept the starting job.
Yeah.
That's literally it. What else is? I can keep going. Hold on. Eric Bischoff is God.
Okay.
In wrestling, but he should have been working for Vince.
Would it helped on both sides?
Yep, he should have been working for Vince. JR does not need to retire. I think he's fine the way.
I think he's just fine. I think putting an Excalibur next to him and a CM Punk next to him, I think things like that do help his longevity for sure. I think, and like he makes mistakes, but it's not like the mistakes aren't actually so bad you can't watch. I like to joke about them, but they don't take away from the show in the way I think people say they do.
Is he low key over it? Yeah, in some ways. I think now he's appreciated because I think with the way things are set up now, the matches have gotten better. Because before the matches were all over the place. Now the matches have gotten better, and JR is like, "Oh, this ain't what it used to be." So I can be more into it more. But I think the biggest problem with JR is that he's not as involved with AEW as he was with WWE. Because remember, he was also talent relations too. So if I see you wrestling and I see lovely wrestling, I know you guys. I've had private conversations with you guys, so I can be more involved in your matches and feel more about the matches. Because I'm part of that. I'm having relations with you, so I'm more involved. I think that's the disconnect with JR and now and the thing.
I got a hot take. I got one, and let me make sure I word this properly. AEW has not shown the ability to build a male star who wasn't already somebody before. That's my hot take. I think that they are very top heavy with guys who sold tickets either in Japan or were very popular on the indies beforehand. I think that they're starting to figure out how to do it with Starks and Hobbs. But really, and Daniel Garcia is going to be up there, but really everybody else is like super established, right? And it's been like 2 years, you know what I mean? And there's not anybody who really came out of nowhere. Like, I think Adam Page was already number one in PWI before AEW was a thing, or he was up there at the very least.
I don't think
if it wasn't PWI, it was one of those rankings where Adam Page is the best wrestler in the world right now, or something along those lines.
He was the next up because this is what people don't understand. If Tony Khan never came to the Bucks about starting something and the rest of them, they would have been in WWE, and Adam would have been NXT champion.
For sure.
And NXT 2.0 would never have happened.
Yeah.
One of my hot takes is AEW did ruin NXT.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It wasn't because Triple H, like somebody has to write a book on this guy, right? I don't think Triple H is like racist or hates people who do drugs or sexist or anything like that. What I do think is he knows that his boss is susceptible to those things. So I don't think Triple H actually gave a shit about Booker T's criminal record. I think he knew that he could sway his boss to give a fuck about it and win at WrestleMania. Triple H was around the niggas doing all the drugs early on in his career. He didn't give a fuck about RVD smoking weed. He was out there with Shawn Michaels when Shawn Michaels was peeled up. But when RVD messed up, he'd be like, see, Vince, I told you, can't deal with them weed head dudes, right? But when Triple H put together NXT, it's all these guys. Oh, and I don't think Triple H had a problem with guys who were under 6 feet tall. Like, I don't think he ever actually had a problem with Kurt Angle, but I think he knew he could appeal to his boss about big guys being who he went with. But then Triple H builds NXT around all the guys he basically pushed out the door. Basically, right? Like NXT was Ciampa, NXT was Gargano, NXT's Adam Cole, NXT is Ricochet. You know, it's all these guys who are super unconventional and have like this history of doing things that aren't like conventionally what would be successful on the main roster. But he built that, but then AEW was like, oh, not only are we going to have the guys who are sub 6 foot, sub 200 pounds, who do all the wrestling moves, but we're going to make them feel like the biggest things in the world, and we're not going to do it under the WWE umbrella. So I agree with you. I think it absolutely broke. Not only did it break NXT, but another thing was, I think Vince looked up and was like, yo, NXT is full of guys who I would not put my main belt on. And when I say that, what happened all of a sudden in NXT? Ricochet and Black tag team. Ciampa and Gargano, who are just feuding, tag team. Let's throw these guys in a WrestleMania match and have them around for a couple of weeks. Totally broke the floor what they're doing, if for no other reason than he looked at those guys and said, fuck what y'all are doing. I need guys. They look like they know what they're doing. And it was just to fill a spot. So I'm right there with you. I think that AEW working made the NXT formula no longer sustainable. I am right there with you.
Because I think Triple H was a mark, just like Tony, but a smarter mark in some type of ways. Because he had a vision. He was like, yo, we're going to build this, something different from WWE itself. And I always say this, Triple H is wrestling. Like, the reason why he did everything you just talked about, played chess with everything, because he knows he couldn't do anything else besides wrestling in life or be part of the business.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yo, if I don't do this, I don't know where else I'm going to. Because he said it in his documentary. I watched his documentary. He's like, I don't know anything else besides wrestling. Now, and I kept thinking about this. If you go through NXT's all of their champions, I think maybe 2, Biggie and Bo Dallas, are not like PWG, New Japan, ROH.
I made a similar comparison. I was like, if you go through that list, you will find very few guys who were not world champions of a smaller promotion beforehand.
Exactly.
Very few. Very
few. And then when the rumor was going around that he was, pitching to the Bucks, like he threw the kitchen sink at the Bucks, and then he was pitching to Adam, and I think he may have pitched something to Kenny. I was like, and then when AEW came around, and I started seeing NXT slowly, disintegrate in front of our eyes, low key, it was like, oh, everybody that was supposed to go to NXT went to AEW. That's literally what happened. And exactly what you said. It's like the stuff that Vince doesn't like, we'll put it on a bigger stage than NXT. We'll pay you more money, and you'll work 1 day a week, maybe 2 days.
And then what's the nail in the coffin? It's Cole. It's Cole showing up 3 weeks after a takeover and looking like the happiest man in the whole world. Like, yeah, for sure.
I want to talk before we go. I know we talked about a lot. There was a tweet. I forgot his name. He's one of my favorite Twitter people. I forgot his name. My bad. My apologies, brother. He tweeted that Adam Cole is looking very Bret Hart-ish in WCW. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like that. I'm like, because I think this is like the thing that kind of sums up me on social media. I'm the biggest Adam Cole fan, and I can't wait for an opportunity to make fun of Adam Cole. Like at the same time, right? I said if Adam Cole wasn't built like a D3 nose tackle, Adam Cole would be everybody's world champion. Because he's a small guy. But no, God, no. I think what's happening with Adam Cole is he's able to have fun now. Like he still is doing all the Adam Cole moves, but now he gets to let his best friends kiss him on the cheek, and he gets to actually like ham it up. I love it. I love it, but I can't pretend I'm objective about Adam Cole. Like I can't. Like I love the guy, love everything he does, love what he stands for. Just seems like a genuine stand-up dude. I'm gonna watch all his matches, so I hate that tweet. I'm gonna find that tweet and report it.
I think, homie, I'm sorry. I really hate the fact that I forgot his Twitter handle. Has some points to it because Adam is chilling, like you said, and that's my problem. Is that too many people are chilling?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to interrupt because I know you want to keep going, but I feel like in NXT, I feel like Adam Cole had something to prove. You know what I mean? Like it was about I'm the best on this thing, and you need to see that. I think that, man, you know what it's like? And again, this doesn't apply to you because you're built different. But man, it's like when you spend all that time working out and lifting and getting your body right, then you find a girl that just wants to feed you. And you're like, I'll just stay home today and let her make something to eat, and we just gonna kick it. I don't need to hit the gym today. That's what it's like. Like I just feel like he's on a honeymoon right now, man. And maybe it gears up when he really shifts back to a singles thing. But yeah. I do understand. Again, like I feel like you said, a lot of people over there just kicking it. That is a WCW problem. I don't feel like it's to the point where it's like my man Scott Hall coming out for a 2-minute match, losing all of a sudden, beating the guy down, and then that's the segment. I still feel like they're working hard, but I do understand the parallels.
No, I'm not saying they're not working. I just feel that Rampage is not working. Get a legit 2-hour show.
Okay.
And work 2 shows. Because Rampage is not very story driven. Because it's not giving me a reason to go watch Rampage on Friday.
It's saying, here's a match we have. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's 2 just matches. And we as wrestling fans, we as just people, we get involved because of stories. Like it's like, yo, hey, I'm gonna watch Rampage on Friday because I want to figure out what Adam Cole's doing. Why he's gonna fight this person. And I know it's just an hour, it's just an hour block, and they just do that. But that's the thing, that's the disconnect of what Rampage is, because it's like, yo, there's no stories in it. There's no reason for me to watch it. Because either my homeboy is gonna post the spoilers because he was there, or somebody else is gonna post it online, and that's it. I was like, okay, I watch Rampage. I want to see a match. Like matches are great, but I can just watch it on YouTube the next day. Why did people watch CM Punk when he debuted on Rampage? Because they wanted to be part of that moment, be in the moment. And Rampage is missing those in the moment situations. That's just my opinion, and that hurts the roster because it's like you have other people that are so talented on there. Yeah, you're having a great match, but okay, what's the reason to watch this match? Like I said before earlier, everybody can wrestle.
Yeah, everybody
can wrestle. There's a reason why you got signed. But why am I invested into this? I think Ruby Soho is awkwardly hot. and I'll watch her matches.
Mhm.
But besides that, what is she doing? She's doing something with Bunny. Let's grow that even more. Let's only on Rampage you can see how the storyline continues.
Here's the hot take. I got it. The hot take is AEW is not as progressive as people pretend they are. That's the hot take.
I'm not using that as a clip.
If you need an example of that, look at the Ruby Soho and Britt Baker promo. Ruby Soho in a promo with Britt Baker, and it had nothing to do with anything, felt the need to point out that she's in the position she's in because of who she's sleeping with. It had no presence in the story. And Ruby, being who she is, didn't write that down in a notebook. She was produced to say that. It had no presence in what they were doing. And so at the end of the day, people need to understand, is AEW doing new and fresh things? Absolutely. Is AEW still ran by a less than progressive man with a bunch of money? Yes. And so you are going to get parallels with WWE. And so it's one more reason not to feel like you have to pick a side. You need to understand that there are going to be good and bad in both. If you don't want to look stupid, take these things with a grain of salt and analyze them as they come to you.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it on that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends with the homie Ceehawk, a.k.a. Mr. Dangling Earring, a.k.a. the love child of Lionel Richie and Shemar Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Now. Huh? I said I'm dancing on the ceiling right now.
Let people know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So Twitter and Instagram at Ceehawk, Ceehawk. Every week, every Wednesday evening, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central, the Pro Wrestling Torch East Coast Cast at eastcoastcast.com. You can hear me on this week's PW Torch Raw post show with Wade Keller at pwtorch.com. You can check out the panel that Wilkins attended at New York Comic Con from 2 weeks ago. If you check out Big Gold Media on YouTube, again, Big Gold Media recorded our panel on the WIFN, Beauty of Blackness in Wrestling. And then, you can catch me at least 2 nights a week on Twitch talking wrestling and then just talking pop culture at twitch.tv/Ceehawk.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends, and I hope all is well.